Hey, Jasen Rice here at Lotpop. We're going to do 8 do's and don'ts for used car management during this pandemic. Actually, 4 of each. 4 do's and 4 don'ts. So here we roll. Here's our first do. Do your virtual lot walk. Right now is the most crucial time that every car is standing to point online. You got to get these things standing tall. No different than when you do your physical lot and make sure those rows are straight and those cars are cleaned up, ready for customers visiting your lot. Your virtual lot is open during this pandemic, and it's going to continue to be open 24/7. And so your cars, your photos, your descriptions got to be standing tall, along with your market pricing too. You got to make sure your pricing still stays competitive to the market to draw attention to these customers. And what I mean by your virtual lot walk, you want to go and make sure you don't have your paper floor mats crumbled up at the bottom of the floorboards. You want to make sure you don't have check engine lights on. You want to make sure if there's a sunroof, make sure there's a picture. The backup camera, make sure there's a picture. Rear entertainment, make sure it's on or at least displayable. Third row seats, and then make sure your captain's chairs, all those things you want to make sure are nice, clear pictures. The next thing you want to do, this is April right now, so you're probably going to have a lot of pictures that have snow in them. So you want to make sure you take care of those and get those out of the equation. Another thing that you're going to want to make sure you want to do is put these goodies in the right order. Make sure if you have navigation / GPS in your descriptions, sunroof/moonroof in your descriptions, panoramic roof, you want to make sure you're meta tagging or maximizing no matter how people are searching, sunroof or moonroof, you have that in your comment. Third row, 7 passenger seating, have that in your comment. Have rear entertainment DVD player in the comment. Build it all out any way customers are going to search for it, but have these goodies at the beginning of both your photos and in your description. Those are the key features people are going to look for right now. You don't want to make them. Internet 101 is make sure you don't click through, make customers have to click through to find the information they want. I like doing what we call a walk around order when it comes to photos. You want to have your first photo pointing left to right and then open up the driver door photo and then send them behind the steering wheel, then put them in the nav, then show them the backup camera. Make sure all the goodies are at the beginning. Don't bury them when it comes to photos either. So again, tip number 1, do your virtual lot walk. This is our first don't on used car management during this pandemic, and don't hold on or sit on your late model vehicles, 18s, 19s, 20s. These cars are going to get impacted very much in this market. New car incentives are going to be unheard of. You know, I was around when 9/11 hit and the 0% hit for the first time. I was around during the recession, and this is another phase, but it's going to be, market's going to move faster than it ever did, and it's going to come top down from late models, and it's going to trickle on down because new car incentives are going to be out there. Right now, currently, it's 84 months at 0% and delaying payments. I think some of these manufacturers are going 3, 4, and 6 months of deferring payments for customers to get them into a new vehicle. Guess what that's doing to your used 2020s, it's going to trickle down to your 19s and 18s. 17s are going to be borderline, but it's usually the 3-year-old car that are usually pretty good, but obviously it's just going to trickle on down through the effect. Then with these late models, I'd probably make sure CPO is available because these late models are the new cars. Manufacturers getting cut back, right? So new car availability might be slim, and a CPO might be another way to switch these customers off. CPO might be a program that these OEMs also do to help move some of these late models for you and hold the values on them. So there might be some CPO advantages if they do better incentives on those cars too, and it might be a good switch car. So if those cars aren't available in the market, if you can take a customer and you know they can't get 0% and whatever on a new car, but you can put them on this and lower their payments, it's going to be a good option for you. So don't sit on these late model cars. Get off them fast as possible. Price them right. Move them, take what you can, but again, use those vehicles too. These late model vehicles tend to, 1, not pull people in from way out of different markets, so that's a benefit. You're probably going to sell local. 2, they're higher dollar units, so you're probably going to get some F&I. 3, you're going to get some trade-in on that car that's retailable. That's the big difference. It's probably a retailable trade if they have one. So these late model cars can pull those type of customers into your door, so utilize those, but don't try to make a ton of money on them. Buy them or trade for them or whatever you have to do. If they're coming off of service loaners, get off them as fast as possible, but make sure you try to get the F&I. Make sure you try to get that trade in. And more likely, it'll probably be a local customer, so get them back in. Make sure you do that service walk. Make sure you get them back in for service on these vehicles. So that's tip number 2. The tip, don't sit on these late model vehicles. All right, this is our third tip and our second do, okay? You wanna make sure that you do stay on top of your price changes. It seems like the first few weeks of this pandemic are people that are markets that have been shutting down, and even the non-markets have been shutting down. A lot of dealers just kind of were like deer in a headlight. They're just stopped and said, hey, you know what? And these are our meeting calls we've been dealing with dealers across the country. Let's not change any prices this week. Let's see what's happened. And that's kind of been over the last couple weeks. Every dealer's kind of like, don't know if they should make adjustments or not. But here's what I do know. A lot of dealer people are a personality. At some point in time, we're going to get this itch and we're going to want to drive some activity. We want to make stuff happen because there's only so much that, you know, we're going to be able to sit around and do nothing. So at some point in time, somebody in your market's going to make an adjustment and start trying to move some vehicles to get some attention on it, either be you or somebody within the market. So you got to make sure you're paying attention to your price to market. Even though you left the store or, you know, you're staying pretty much at 99 or 100% or 98, wherever that number is. If that 98% all of a sudden turns into 99 and 100% to market, that means other people in the market are making moves, and you're either going to have to sit and wait and hope your cars become relevant when the market comes back, or you get aggressive and compete with those dealers to make sure you're front of mind when these customers are shopping for cars. You want them, your virtual lot's open. We talked about on tip 1. Your virtual lot is open. You want to make sure if customers are shopping online, even if they can't pull the trigger yet, they might inquire. They might want to ask to put a deposit down. They might save it on sites like AutoTrader, Cars.com, Car Gurus. It allows people to save it or become a favorite. You want to make sure your cars are part of that equation. Follow up with those leads and attack it. Okay, so this third tip, it's our second do stay up on your price changes and make sure you're competitive in your market as the market adjusts. All right, here's our fourth tip and our second don't when it's do's and don'ts for used car management during this pandemic. I would say don't rely on old metrics. When I say old metrics, it's old in this current world that's changing so fast. Is anything that's looking at probably 30 to 45 day metrics, either the market or your stocking, your inventory metrics. Because think about that, everybody's losing sales right now and things are slowed down. So if you look back 45 days, that activity was still pretty good. Just a month ago, things were moving pretty good. So you might overstock for today's current selling positions and vice versa. Let's look at moving forward. Let's look at May, middle of May, looking 45 days ago is going to be April 1st, where there's nothing selling or very limited selling, both in your inventory and in the market. So those metrics that are out there looking at 30, 45 days, whether it be stocking, marketing data, it's going to be very questionable to understand the impact of that. Obviously, it's a good metric you're going to want to stay on top of and take a look at and see how big of a shift it made. And it shouldn't matter if it was high then, it's going to be, if it's high now, it's going to be high then, and if it's low now, it'd be lower then. So those numbers could balance each other out, but you also got to think about how much weight you put into that, okay? So I would suggest to you looking at 1 and 2 weeks sales cycles. I would look at historically what's moving on your lot, okay? Moving forward, and at least for the next few months, you're gonna have to just kind of look historically what's been popping off your lot, your make, model, trim, and you wanna look at 1 to 2 week windows. You also wanna be able to be proactive in stocking, meaning look at cars that you know will be leaving soon based on the age and activity and how you're priced to market. Knowing that car is gonna be leaving soon, you might want to go ahead and stock for that because turnaround time is going to be key. Okay, so you just want to make sure you don't put too much weight in some of these 30, 40 day metrics, because 45 day metrics, because looking back right now, different market. Going forward, looking back to now, hopefully it's a different market and we're actually starting to sell stuff in May and June and stuff. So don't put too much weight into those metrics right now. Keep an eye on them, but just realize what they're looking at. Thanks. All right, on to our fifth tip. This is our third do. Do your follow-up and make sure you have long-term follow-up, okay? You can't just have a 32-week, 30, 45 day, 60 day follow-up now. You're gonna have to at least go 90 to 120 day follow-up. Customers are gonna be shopping right now, but they might not be able to pull the trigger for a month or two. or 3, right? Until they're more stable back to work or regular hours and can afford it. But with all the good deals going on right now, people are going to start reaching out and continue. Lead counts are still pretty solid in most markets, so customers are still out there shopping. So you want to make sure you have a long-term follow-up process and then that you're working it, okay? Don't just go for the low-hanging fruit. A lot of times in our processes, because we're such instant gratification people, we get back with the people that get back with us. And guess what cars those are when it comes to used cars? It's your 45 and older cars. Those are cars that are usually priced more aggressive to the market, 90, 88, 85% of market. You sometimes get double-digit leads on those cars. Those leads, you almost don't even have to get back with them because they're calling and contacting you. Those are the low-hanging fruit. Those are the people coming out to you, calling you and emailing you and asking you more information, wanting to do a credit app, wanting to know what their trade's worth, because they don't want somebody else to get that great deal. So we're tied up in these leads on the low-hanging fruit, which is the older cars where there's no gross. But what about the leads? And usually it's 20, 30% or less. What about these leads that are on fresh inventory, cars that are priced at 98%, 100%, 102% of the market? If a customer's shopping online, they obviously seen, if I'm at 100% of market, I'm not too low and I'm not too high, but there's obviously cheaper ones out there that they could have submitted a lead on. But there's obviously something on your car, maybe it's the miles or the color or the equipment that made yours more appealing. That's the lead that you want to follow up with. The customer's going to call, you're going to call that customer, they don't answer the phone because they might not be ready to pull the trigger yet. You're busy down here messing with these customers on cheap, low gross deals, and then we forget to follow up with that lead that was on a car at 100% of market, right? Until it gets further down the funnel, and then all of a sudden they come into the market and they're ready to buy. But if we spend a lot of our attention on the fresher cars that are priced higher than the market, your grosses will go up. But make sure you're following up with your leads, all of them. And you're going to have to extend your process out to 90 or 120 days. I keep every customer active until they buy, die, or unsubscribe. My process might end both calls, emails, texts at 90 or 120 days now, but I still keep them active. I don't move them to loss. I keep them active because down the road there might be a new incentive. Down the road there might be a new program on CPO that I want to reach out to. Maybe down the road I get a similar vehicle that sold and want to reach out to them. So I always keep them active, but extend your process and make sure you're following up with them on the long term. The low-hanging fruit, work those. But make sure we're also working those cars, the leads that we're getting off fresh inventory, and go above and beyond for those customers that get more value because you might not be priced as aggressive as the ones down here. So I hope this was helpful. Again, do follow up with your leads. This is our 6th tip and our 3rd don't. Okay? Don't let your old email templates go out to customers nowadays. These are going to be pretty much irrelevant. When we say, when can you come in for a test drive? Click here to schedule an appointment for a test drive, right? So those type of verbiages right now in this market, in most markets across the country, we're offering at-home deliveries, at-home test drives, touchless buying, digital retail where they could do all the credit apps and trade appraisals online. So we don't want our old email templates going out referencing, hey, that vehicle's still available, when can you come by for a test drive? When they don't want to come in right now. They're too scared or they're afraid, or you might not be open enough for them to do that, but you can definitely deliver that car to them for those. So change your email templates out to reference all the services that you're doing now to help people through this pandemic and help them feel more comfortable buying a vehicle from you, okay? So this is a quick one, but tip number 6 is don't let your old email templates going out without double checking and making sure those references are gone and that you're referencing all the cleaning stuff that you're doing to vehicles, the touchless service, and what you're providing. I would create a video and have those part of your templates too. So don't let your old email templates going out without making sure none of that old references are in there. Tip number 7, this is our 4th do. Do promote what you're doing in your dealership as far as making sure that customers understand that their health and your employees' health is number 1. Go over and make videos, Facebook promotions, and have tips on your website showing customers how you're sanitizing the cars, how you're sanitizing and cleaning the delivery process, how you're doing paperless and touchless delivery options and financing and trade-ins. Promote that information out there. Get it on your website, on your homepage. I would get it in your email templates, get it on your Facebook homepage. Okay, promote what you're doing out there to help customers feel more comfortable visiting your dealership or you coming to their home. But also promote other things that you're doing in the community. Don't think that you're looking like you're showing off. If you're providing food for the kids that are out of school, if you're doing delivery services for elderly and the vets and the first responders, promote that, okay? Customers like to do business with people they like and trust, and when you put that out there, that's going to show them that they like and trust your business. Plus, on top of it, you're putting their health above and beyond and making sure that if they need a vehicle and want a vehicle, you're going to be able to do everything in your powers to make it safe, easy, and healthy for them. So, do make sure you promote what you're doing both in your vehicles and your delivery process and the cleaning and the sanitizing of your dealership, and do promote what you're doing in the community, because that is the differentiator between your home delivery and some of these bigger companies that do home deliveries and doesn't have a dealership or rooftop and employees that are involved in the community. So do promote yourself. Don't hold back. This is our last and 8th tip, our 4th don't. Okay? Don't sit on your hands and just wait for this to be over. As a dealer, as a manager at your dealership, your virtual lot is open. I was surprised when I got emails from a dealer saying, "Hey Jason, we can't sell anything. No one else is selling anything. What do you want me to do?" I don't know. Let's get proactive. Let's talk about all these do's and don'ts that I did and apply these things to our stores and be proactive and come up with good processes while the time is down. They say, the old saying is, good habits form at the worst of times and bad habits form at the best of times. Well, we've had some best times, we've had some good times, and so we know we got some sloppy processes out there. Don't just sit around and wait for this to cure and wait for things, the smoke to go away and then get back to business. This isn't a vacation when it comes to being the inventory manager or the dealership, obviously, and I'm not here to preach to you guys, but you understand you want to be proactive in attacking this, coming up with good processes in place with your management team and everybody on board, so when you do open your doors or when sales pick up, you guys are humming and get the good practices and good processes in place when it's slow right now. ABC, always be in control. So you want to make sure you're controlling the situation, be proactive, attack it, come up with the good solid processes, either be an internet process management, inventory process management, photos, turnaround time. This is a great time to get your turnaround time in line. There's products like Rapid Recon out there that'll help dealerships, but it's a big tool, that's a big process to set it all up and to get everybody on board. But you can use this slow and downtime to implement something like that, because turnarounds are going to be key. Okay, so don't sit on your hands. I know most of you are not, but be proactive. Let's set up good processes, both in inventory management, lead management, turnaround time, and let's attack this thing so when the smoke clears, we're looking back and seeing everybody else still struggling to get on their feet, right? So don't sit on your hands. Let's be proactive. I hope these tips helped.